Hi everybody. So last week I heard, and I don't know whether you guys heard this as well, but there was a guy that broke the plank world record, all right, and he planked for like 8 hours something. Okay, so this week I thought I'd honour that attempt and give you some planking progressions and regressions. So start off like super easy, and we'll work up through some different kind of planking exercises. Like 8 hours is quite a long time, so maybe start off with a little bit less than that. Minute, something like that. If you can do more than a minute on a plank, I always say that you probably need to start progressing a little bit, make it more difficult. But anyway, let me know how you get on, guys, and I hope there's something here that will challenge you a little bit. Right, guys, so if you're new to planking, this is like really important. So one of the first things I would do is get myself onto all fours and make sure that we have a good control in the lumbar spine and the pelvis. Okay, so one of the problems that I see when people do planks, whether they're on the hands or whether they're on the forearms, is this kind of sagging of the hips down to the floor. So they've got, no control over what's going on in this part of the body here. So the kneeling plank I find is always a really good start point, because what I can do is I can go into, tuck my pelvis underneath, push my tailbone up towards the ceiling a little bit, and then I'm going to go somewhere in between. And I know now, in that position now, my core is braced and my pelvis is orientated in the correct position. Now from there, just going to brace up and lift my knees about a centimetre off the floor. There's my kneeling plank, and that is going to be my start point for all my different positions. Okay, there we go. So kneeling plank first. If you've never tried a plank position before, just make sure that pelvis is orientated properly. Right, guys, once you've got the kneeling squat sorted, next one is a nice little progression actually, because we can get that feeling of getting the pelvis in the right position. So for me, it's about there. Now, I'm going to brace up and very smoothly take one foot back at a time, maintaining that strong brace position in my core. Okay, again, I do not want to see this sagging of the hips down towards the floor. So number one, tuck my tailbone under, brace up in my tummy muscles. 1 foot at a time, I'm going to go back, and there you go. There's my braced plank position. So see if you can hold that for 8 hours. Let me know how you go. Okay, so we've gone from kneeling plank, straight arm plank. Okay, now we're going to do a 3-point plank or shoulder tap plank. Okay. So this one, it's exactly the same as before in terms of we've got to control what's going on in the pelvis and lower back. Okay, so we've got to remain nice and braced in my core. But now also there's a rotational element too, and there's going to be some rotational forces that I'm going to have to try and resist. Okay, so it's a little bit different to the previous two. So same kind of thing as before in terms of our start position. I'm going to get myself nice and braced in that kneeling. Then one leg goes back, then the other leg goes back. Okay. And then here we go. I'm going to go shoulder tap. It's a nice and controlled shoulder tap, maintaining this strong position here, but also I'm trying to resist any rotational forces. So I've got to stay nice and braced in my tummy as that happens. Okay, so this is pretty tough now, and you probably will feel like your hips are wanting to move quite a lot. To counteract that, the wider you go with your foot position, the easier it is. Okay, so the bigger you make that base of support, the narrower you go, the harder it is. So have a little play around as well with your foot position, but ultimately you want to try and minimize rotation. Okay, have a go, guys, and let me know how you get on.